Shalom, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi, Call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who rule and teach well, and peace and safety to the Akim that spread across the four corners of the world, that's pushing out this truth with all diligence and also putting their lives on the line to do so. This is the brother Karash's Eye out of GMS Atlanta, here with a lesson. Basically going into how the Lord, will deliver, us through, us having, faith, and believing in His power, and I have here, so I could, I'm gonna read an account, in Daniel the 3rd chapter about, the three brothers. I believe, they were brothers, if I'm not mistaken. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, on how, the Lord delivered them, from that fiery furnace, all because they believed and had, hope, in Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi. So without further ado, I'm going to read Daniel, the 3rd chapter, starting from the first verse. And it says, Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image of which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. So Nebuchadnezzar basically made, an idol, for, these people, to worship, and continuing reading, it says, then the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together into the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then a herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, believe that word is psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. You see, so this king, the king Nebuchadnezzar, made this, this image, for the people to worship, and commanded that they worship him. Continuing on reading, it says, and whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And our people always, hurt themselves by worshiping, these false idols, that, these kings and these leaders, make. That's why we're in the situation that we're in now, because worshiping false idols, man. And this is another example. The scriptures speak about Romans 15, the 15th chapter and the 4th verse, about how everything was written, aforetime was written for our learning, just, understanding how we went off, man. So continuing reading, it says, verse 8, wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And we all know, through was it Isaiah 10, the 10th chapter and the first verse, how Esau, and the so-called white man, made these statutes and decrees, to cause the people to go off, man. But the scriptures say, woe unto them for doing that, man. So continuing reading, it says, verse 11, and whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy powers, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. And this, is the same spirit, that we should have in these times coming, man. Because we're going to be, put in certain situations, as far as, taking the chip, any, situation that, these devils try to put us in, and we still have to have that faith, and that belief, in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi that we've been talking about this whole time, man. The Lord is going to try you to see, is it just words that you're speaking, or, or are you going to back up what you're saying, man? So continuing reading, it says, then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my powers, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that power that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our power whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had faith in their power, man. They weren't afraid, of what, the consequences were, for not, worshiping this image, which was being thrown into that burning fiery furnace, man. We're going to have to go through, the consequences that these devils, have laid, is going to put on us, whether it be concentration camps, torture, wherever the case may be, but the Lord is going to deliver us out of them, man. The scriptures speak about in Isaiah 59 how she shall lift up a standard, man. And we wholeheartedly believe that. You see? Just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did, man. So it says, verse 18, but if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy powers, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. These men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Sadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So the burning fiery furnace was 7 times, hotter, than it was before, so hot that it slew the three mighty men, that put, these men into the furnace, man. That's how hot it was, man. So it was scorching hot, man, that you could feel the heat, from a distance to where it'll kill you just from, being close to it, man. You see? But continuing reading, it says, verse 23, and these 3 men, Sadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, true, O king. Then he answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the son of the Most High. You see, so Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi was in there, Yahawashi was, in there in that fiery furnace with those 3 brothers, protecting them. You see, because it said he was a 4th man loose, man, and he only put 3 men in there. So the Lord looked out for those 3 men, and delivered them. You see, they weren't afraid of what, the furnace or what Nebuchadnezzar or those 3 mighty men could do to them or to hurt them, because they had belief and faith in our power, man. You see? So I'm not, going to read the whole thing, but basically, the Lord delivered them out of it, man. The Lord delivered those 3 men, out of that situation, from the belief that they have, man. You see? So this is what leads me to Matthew the 5th chapter and 11th verse. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. You see, so the scriptures say, blessed. Matter of fact, let me read up a verse, Matthew 5 and 10. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. You see? So we're going to be persecuted just like those 3 men, in that furnace, man. But the scriptures say, blessed are we, because, the Lord, that shows you, that the Lord is going to deliver us out of these situations, because it says, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Meaning we're going to escape these certain situations, man, just like the account that I brought up, So this is Matthew, and I'm going to close off with this in the book of Matthew chapter 10 and verse 28. It says, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. You see? So that's who we're supposed to fear, our power. If those men bow down and worship, that false idol that Nebuchadnezzar set up, like the other people, that the Lord would have cast a heavy judgment upon them, man. But they stood their ground and had integrity, and didn't bow and worship that false idol, and they were delivered, out of that judgment that king tried to set, or put forth upon them, man. So these are the times that we're heading to, and we have to, pray, fast, continue doing the work, so the Lord will deliver us in these troubling times. And that's why, I wanted to, do this lesson, and Lord willing, it was edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close out by giving all praises and infinite glory into Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakah HaKodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS who rule and teach well. Until the next time, I say shalom.